Daughters are heaven sent. Their love for their mothers runs deep, fierce, loyal, and unconditional. But what happens when that love has to coexist with emotional pain? When your mother is living with PTSD, bipolar disorder, borderline personality, schizophrenia, or the echoes of trauma she never healed from? As a therapist, I've met so many daughters who give and give, who try to love harder, to understand better, to fix what feels broken, just to feel that bond, that moment of connection. They grow up too fast, becoming caretakers, before they even know what childhood feels like. And still, they're often left feeling invisible, rejected, or worse, responsible for their mother's suffering. If this speaks to you, please remember, you are not the cause of her pain, and you don't have to carry it to prove your love. These daughters go above and beyond. They listen, they forgive. They reach out again and again, hoping that maybe this time will be different. They send the text, make the call, show up at the door with love in their hands, and when it's not received, they blame themselves. They wonder, what more can I do? Why am I never enough? But somehow they get back up. They dust off the hurt and try again, because deep down they're not chasing perfection, they're chasing connection. They just want what every child deserves, a mother-daughter relationship built on love, safety, and emotional presence. They want to be seen for who they are, heard for what they feel, and held without having to earn it. And that longing, that hope, is one of the purest forms of love there is. The mother-daughter bond is one of the most powerful forces in existence, but it's also one of the most complex. I often call it a learning relationship because mothers don't just raise their daughters. They often see a younger version of themselves in them. Their hopes, their fears, their regrets, all reflected back through their child's eyes. And when a mother hasn't yet healed from her own trauma, she may not be reacting to her daughter at all, but to her own shadows. Old pain resurfaces, and what should be nurturing can turn confusing, unpredictable, even painful. The daughter becomes a mirror instead of a person. And love, that sacred bond, becomes tangled in unhealed wounds, guilt, and emotional chaos. But within that same bond lies the possibility of profound healing when awareness, compassion, and courage enter the room. Your mom's intense reactions often stem from her own past experiences. When she overreacts to small things, she's not just seeing you but herself at your age. Her fear and control are rooted in her unhealed pain and desire to protect you from experiences she once faced. This isn't about you, but her attempt to rewrite her own story through yours. Understanding this perspective allows you to stop taking her reactions personally and see her humanity. Real connection begins when we see each other clearly, acknowledging our shared vulnerabilities and love. Tip 1, shift your mindset. You're not just dealing with a difficult person. You're often dealing with someone who's living with an emotional disability. Unlike physical disabilities, emotional ones are invisible. You wouldn't ask a blind person to read a book, or a person with a broken leg to run a marathon. In the same way, your mother may struggle with trust, control, love, or forgiveness, not because she won't, but because, at this point in her healing, she can't. Her nervous system may be wired for survival, not safety. Her reactions may come from pain, not from who she truly is underneath. When you start to see it through that lens, you begin to protect your own heart, not by hardening it, but by understanding its limits and choosing compassion without self-blame. Tip 2, understand that your mother may be reacting from survival mode. Her nervous system might be wired for danger, even when no real threat is present. To her, love might not feel safe, closeness might feel like control, and peace might even feel unfamiliar. So when she shuts down, lashes out, or tries to manipulate a situation, it's often not coming from cruelty, it's coming from fear. Her body and brain are doing what they've learned to do to survive. Now, that doesn't excuse the pain you've experienced, and it doesn't make her behavior okay. But understanding the why gives you something powerful, emotional distance. It helps you stop taking her reactions so personally and start seeing them as signs of unhealed trauma, not reflections of your worth. And from that place of awareness, you can choose boundaries that protect your peace without losing your compassion. Tip 3, detach with love. When you grow up craving your mother's approval or emotional warmth, it's natural to keep reaching for it, hoping that maybe one day things will finally feel different. But sometimes real healing begins when you learn to love her without losing yourself. Detaching with love doesn't mean cutting her off or pretending you don't care. It means accepting that you can't fix her pain, and you don't have to live inside it anymore. It's allowing her to have her journey while you choose peace over chaos. It's saying, I love you, but I can't keep sacrificing my emotional health to stay connected. When you stop trying to manage her emotions, you start reclaiming your own. And that's not abandonment, that's self-respect, wrapped in compassion. Tip 4. Set boundaries without guilt. Boundaries aren't punishments, they're protection. They protect your peace, your energy, and the parts of you that have spent a lifetime trying to keep the relationship afloat. You may have been taught that saying no is unloving or that keeping distance means you're ungrateful, but boundaries are actually a deeper form of love for both of you. Because without them, resentment grows where love could have healed. Setting a boundary might sound like, Mom, I love you, but I can't talk about that topic right now. Or, I'll visit, but I need to leave if things become hurtful. You can be kind and still be firm. You can care and still protect yourself. And when the guilt starts whispering that you're selfish, remind yourself, boundaries don't break connection. They make real connection possible. Tip 5, reparent yourself. When your mother couldn't give you the safety, validation, or tenderness you needed, you may have learned to go without it, to survive without comfort, to expect rejection, or to silence your feelings just to keep peace. But healing begins when you start giving yourself what you've always needed from her. That's what reparenting means, becoming the gentle, patient, and loving parent your younger self never had. It's speaking to yourself kindly when you make a mistake. It's resting without guilt. It's saying, I matter, even when no one else says it back. Every time you honor your needs, instead of dismissing them, you're breaking the generational pattern. You're teaching your nervous system that love can be safe and that you are worthy, not because you earned it, but because you exist. Tip 7. Build new sources of nurturing connection. When the bond with your mother has been painful, it's easy to believe that no relationship will ever feel safe again. But healing doesn't happen in isolation. It happens in connection. You can begin to rebuild trust by surrounding yourself with people who feel gentle, consistent, and kind. Friends who listen without judgment, mentors who see your potential, chosen family who show up and stay. Every safe relationship helps rewire your nervous system, teaching your body that not all closeness leads to hurt, and that love can feel calm instead of chaotic. You deserve relationships that give, not just take, that hold space for your truth without making you small, because while your mother may have been your first teacher in love, she doesn't have to be your last. Tip 8. Forgive is not to reconcile but to be free. Forgiveness isn't about pretending the pain never happened. It's not about letting someone back into your life or minimizing what they did. It's about releasing the grip that the past still has on your heart. When you forgive, you're not saying, it's okay. You're saying, I'm done carrying what isn't mine. Forgiveness is a doorway, one that leads you out of survival and into peace. It's choosing to stop letting your mother's wounds define your worth or your story. You can love her from afar, wish her healing, and still protect your boundaries. You can grieve, let go, and finally breathe, because freedom doesn't come when the other person changes. It comes when you do. And that's how you become the cycle breaker your family line has been waiting for. If you've made it this far, I want you to take a deep breath, because this journey isn't about blame. It's about understanding. Understanding that love and pain can coexist, that your mother's wounds may have shaped you, but they don't have to define you. Each tip you've heard, shifting your mindset, seeing survival patterns, detaching with love, setting boundaries, reparenting yourself, grieving, finding new sources of connection, and forgiving is a step toward reclaiming your peace. Healing the mother wound isn't about fixing her. It's about freeing the little girl inside you who thought love had to hurt to be real. You're learning to mother yourself with the tenderness you always needed, and in doing so, you're rewriting generations of pain into compassion and strength. So wherever you are in your journey, please remember, you are not broken. You are becoming whole, and your healing is the love story that changes everything. So this is the end of today's episode. Thank you for watching and for walking this journey with me. If these messages spoke to your heart, it's because something in you already knows. You were never meant to carry someone else's pain as proof of your love. Healing the mother wound takes courage, compassion, and patience with yourself. So wherever you are in that process, please remember, your growth, your boundaries, and your peace matter. If this series brought you clarity or comfort, share it with someone who might need the same reminder. And don't forget to subscribe for more conversations on emotional healing, trauma, and rebuilding from the inside out. You're doing the brave work of breaking the cycle, one gentle step at a time.